So my friend Brandon asks, Joey, what's your take on the movie Idiocracy? That movie got it really wrong. Like terribly, completely wrong. They blew it. They're close, but they blew it. As in the movie, he goes into the future 500 years. But we know that actually 15 would have been enough to have woke up and found that the world is infinitely fucking stupider than you ever could have imagined or hoped for. So Idiocracy takes place in the future. Or actually, no, it takes place in the past at first, but then takes place in the future. See, well, I guess when they made it, it wasn't the past, it was supposed to be the present, but it's our past right now. So Idiocracy takes place in the past and future, but not right now, which is clearly when the Idiocracy is happening. Okay, coffee time this morning. So let's talk about Idiocracy for Brandon just a little bit. Give my two thoughts on this wonderful movie. It starts off with the premise that the smart people aren't breeding, and it's true. You see these like two totally lame wanker yuppies, urban people who are like, oh, my career. I don't know if now's the right time to have children because of my career, my career. Ooh, not now. And you know, it shows these two people, and they just basically never have a child at all. It's like, I don't know, some skinny blonde woman and Evan Solomon from CBC are the couple, and they can't have any children. But meanwhile, it shows some hillbillies, sort of like myself, I suppose. I kind of resent this part of the movie, by the way, because it's not just us hillbillies having lots of kids. I mean, I only have two, right? So that, let's be fair. Still, the movie it's trying to be funny, so it shows that these idiots are breeding, and then by the time that Evan Solomon and his skinny white girlfriend have decided that, I guess Evan dies of testicular cancer or something, and she's all alone and never had a child, but luckily she saved a couple eggs for in vitro fertilization. And anyways, so while that's happening, the hillbillies have had 5 million children, and they've taken over the entire world, which, hey, that's part of what's going on too. But also what's also happening right now is that the narrative stupidity is being purposely pushed. It's propaganda is being purposely pushed. They're purposely trying to make people know less things, understand less things. And there's a billionaires who are involved in this. So it's like, there's something the movie didn't point out is that smart people are actually trying to make people stupider for their own purposes. Anyways, so that's how the movie starts. This guy, he's an army guy, and he's like the most average, normal person on Earth, and he decides to, they pick him to be in this army experiment in which they're going to try to freeze a person and in a year from now see what they're like. So they pick this guy, and then they pick this woman who's a prostitute, by the way, and they put him in the little coffin things, but no, everyone forgets about him, and it could have been 15 years later, but instead it was hey, Waylon.
Hello.
What did you think of the movie? Nice and loud, please.
It was really funny.
It was really funny. Was it really true? Really loud. Loud.
Yes, it was really true.
It was very true, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my son, Waylon. Last night we were playing Monopoly, and I'm killing everybody. I'm winning so big. But then I got put in jail. I got the land in jail card, and Waylon says, ha, jail, that's where you rich people belong. And I said, that's my son, okay. That didn't help him, though. I still beat him at Monopoly. Anyways,
Yeah.
back to the story of Idiocracy. Idiocracy. So, they wake up 15 years in the future, 500 years, could have been 15 for all I care, because he wakes up and everything's covered in garbage and everyone's stupid. So to me, that's 2025. But the movie contends it happens in the year 2500. Sure, okay. So the year 2500 is when Idiocracy takes place. So he wakes up, and the first thing he wakes up in a guy who will eventually be his lawyer's house, and the guy's watching a show called Ow My Balls. And the premise of Ow My Balls is to think of as many possible ways to injure someone in the nuts. Now, honestly, I kind of like the concept of the show. I wish we had one of our own. I'd be quite into it. So anyways, he's like, doesn't have a barcode on his arm, and everyone's stupid everywhere. No one can answer any questions. And then he gets arrested because he doesn't have he doesn't have a barcode, so he can't pay the hospital. And he finally realizes in the year 2500, finally realizes what's going on. And they put him in jail, but he just walks on out. But the courtroom is hilarious. It's kind of like the Nazi, it's like Roland Friesler, the Nazi judge, had this like kangaroo court that was completely ridiculous all the time. And whoa! That's kind of what this court was like, except if it was morons instead of ideological morons. I mean, pure morons, just pure morons. So anyways, what ends up happening is eventually he does this aptitude test, and they find out that he's the smartest man in the entire world. And they put him in charge of watering the crops and internal affairs and whatnot, and his name becomes Not Sure, and Not Sure figures out how to save the crops by watering them with water instead of Gatorade. Brondo, it's the thirst quencher. And there's all these classic scenes in it that people really like and appreciate and remind them of reality, right? So it's like, the president himself, President Camacho, and he's like giving a big speech, and it's all like, whoa, yeah, ooh, and he's like shooting his machine gun, and people are cheering, and they don't care, and I've heard people kind of compare President Camacho to Donald Trump, and I mean, certainly, that's kind of like the ineptitude we're dealing with. But what I thought was really interesting in the movie, and everyone seems to have missed out on, is that there's still this corporate functioning that continues on through Idiocracy. The corporate functioning being the companies themselves still operate. There must be someone left in the world who's smart, I guess, but no, some smart people a long time ago made those. Nonetheless, it's somebody invented Brondo, somebody's producing it, but I think what's happened is most of their society is run by artificial intelligence. That's what we find out as you get into the movie, that I think, at least that's my premise, that a lot of those functionings of society, and you see this through the movie where, he goes to the hospital and the AI machine tries to determine what's wrong with them. It's like, everything is kind of like done through this sort of like enter your data or, enter your information and the computer will give you an answer. And because nobody knows anything, the computer is all we have. So I think that's really interesting moment there and interesting revelation in that movie. Okay. Idiocracy rates 4.5 out of 5 on Rotten Tomatoes. Really, really high ratings, actually. People love this movie. And what's funny about it is that the company itself that put it out, who put it out? Was it, I'll figure this out in a second. Whoever put it out didn't want the movie to get out. So what they actually did was they only released it in 6 theaters. They tried to bury the movie. They tried to absolutely bury this one once they made it. They're like, oh my God, we don't want people to see this. And of course, it became a cult classic nonetheless. But it really shows you something. The movie's trying to make this like broad point. It's trying to really, impress on people the danger of the future we're heading towards and the stupidity of it all. And then, of course, the stupid response from the production companies is like, bury that one. Yeah. So, are we living in the age of stupid? Says Luke Buckmaster. The area of the idiot. The simple answer is yes. This article's from 5 years ago, with examples of monstrous moronicism everywhere from climate deniers to the plandemic crowd who believe COVID-19's cooked up in Bill Gates' basement. Oh my God, these people. On the other hand, human beings have always been illogical creatures. A better question, whether we are a species of becoming dumber. If this is the era of the idiot already, what comes next? That's a great question. Oh boy. So Mike Judge made this movie in the year 2006. He's 19 years old. He co-wrote it with Ethan Coen and suggesting that morons rather than nerds will inherit the earth and that the results will be catastrophic. The film begins with a context-setting intro. So real it hurts. There's an intelligent adult couple, like I said, and they won't be having children. And the less intelligent couple is breeding like rabbits. So interesting stuff. In this area couldn't help but think of birth strikers taking a reasoned response to the climate crisis while hordes of hoi polloi refuse to accept there's even a problem. And this is true too. It's like the the pro-abortion and anti-abortion crowds, the pro-life crowd and the pro-choice crowd. It's what's happening is one crowd continues to multiply and the other crowd does not. So, anyways, so Joe Bowers, he goes. In the end, he almost gets run over by a bunch of crazy machines, and they try to kill him. But then finally, someone sees that actually no. Brawndo doesn't make the crops go, despite the fact that it has electrolytes. It's actually water that does it. Water from the toilet. Yeah, like water from the toilet, they say. And in the end, Joe becomes president of the United States, and everybody lives happily ever after, even though all the problems aren't completely solved. And excellent movie. Thank you very much for making that one, Mike Judge. And unfortunately, a lot of people will never see it, and if they do, they'll never understand that the movie is about them. Actually, it's actually about them. The loss of critical thinking skills. What is critical thinking skills, everybody? That's the critical question of the day. What is critical thinking? Let's just review this one quickly for you, because I know you want to hear this. Okay, critical thinking is the disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and evaluating information to guide beliefs and actions. Now, I know you idiots out there who are watching the show right now are probably thinking, what did he say? My God, can you repeat it? It's a process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, and then applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and evaluating information to guide beliefs and actions. So it involves evaluating arguments, identifying problems, and communicating ideas objectively. Objectively. Do you know what objectively means? It means not with bias. It means my objective thinking means despite the fact I don't like it, I understand that it's real. I'm not trying to fit things into my mental box. So active and skilled critical thinking requires conscious effort in the development of specific skills. It involves structured and rigorous approach to thinking, forming ideas and understanding concepts, using knowledge and skills in practical situations, breaking down information into component parts and examining the relationship between them. Oh, that's a good one. Combining different ideas and information to form new understandings. Assessing validity, reliability, and relevance of information and arguments. This is a really important one. Assessing the validity. That's how reliable is the information? How valid is it? And how relevant is it to these? So a lot of the times people are like just giving me these red herring arguments that kind of, we're talking about this, and they're like, well, what about this? And then you never actually get to answer their question or convince them of anything. Observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, communication. Critical thinking relies on these sources of information and they're tools we use for our analysis, right? So the ultimate goal of critical thinking is to make informed decisions and be able to take effective actions. It's not a matter of squeezing everything into the world that you want it to be in. It's you bending yourself to the truth and the facts of the matter, whether you like them or not, or are comfortable with them. And what that means is, it's impossible if you are hateful and a bigot to engage in critical thinking whatsoever, because the very act of being a hateful bigot is the rejection of such things. It's reliance on your emotions. How does this make me feel? Rather than the reality of the matter as it is. Okay, well, that's what I got to say on the movie of Idiocracy today. If you haven't seen it, make sure you watch this one. It's an absolute classic. Okay, everybody, we'll talk to you next time. Hit like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back with you with some weather this afternoon, because we got that storm show coming tomorrow, and I'll have all the details on that for yo.